Hi, my name's Emily and welcome to Sweet Cake Patterns. In today's video, I wanted to show you some brand new yarn that I got from Hobbii and what I'm going to make with it. So first off, I recently got the opportunity to get the yarn called, and I have it in a box here. It's not the original package it came in, but I had a box in hand, so I just put it into it. So what I wanted to show you though is the yarn that I got. So this is Hobbii Upcycle Alpaca Wool Big. So it's kind of a long name, but you can see that's what it's called. And it is 50% alpaca and 50% wool. It's super nice and it's very soft and just feels very high quality. You can see it has like a beautiful like tweed to it. It looks like a natural fiber, and I honestly don't think I've ever worked with alpaca yarn before, and I have to say I'm really enjoying working with it. So alpaca and wool yarn, I both have almost never used. I think I've used a little bit of wool, but never, I don't think I've ever used alpaca. So anyway, first off I want to show you the colors I got. So this is the color Blush, and it's color number 04. And I believe I got a couple balls of this. I think I got 3 if I remember right. Let's see if I can find, yep, here we go. I got 3 balls of this, and all very beautiful. You can see that's how they look. I would call it a kind of, I wouldn't say it's exactly like a blush. I typically like, I don't consider it a typical colored blush, but it's a very pretty color, almost like a red with a, almost like a earthy red color, I feel like. But yeah, super pretty color, and I'm excited to work with it. Then the next color that I got was this beautiful dark color. I believe this was called Charcoal, but it's just a really nice deep color, and you can see it has, I don't know if you can see on camera, but it has some like tweed almost, like just kind of a little bit, it's just slightly heathered more like it. But it's very, very pretty, and I think I got 3 balls of this as well, or 3 cakes to be more correct in my words. So yeah, I got 3 cakes of this charcoal color, and it kind of wants to give a little bit of like a shine, but it's very not shiny in person, so I don't know why it's wanting to, this light's wanting to make it look shiny. Let's see if it'll focus. There you go. So very pretty. Definitely like this color. I'm excited to make stuff with it. I'll share in a moment what I'm planning on making. Then I got 3 balls of this mustard color. I believe this was actually called Mustard, and you can see that is the color. Very pretty. I think this has to be one of the most pretty gold yellow colors I've gotten, because it's just, I love the muted gold colors personally, and this is definitely a very muted gold. So I definitely love this color, and I'm super happy with this. Then I got 3 skeins, or 3 cakes of the dark, kind of a dark brown, and I believe this was called Walnut, and it's a super pretty color. I just love how, because it's a little bit like heathered of yarn, I love how it looks, each of the colors look very rich, and it just adds more detail and I think more beautiful texture. So yeah, super nice. So this is walnut, and I got 3 colors, or 3 balls of that. Then I got 3 balls of the silver gray color, and you can see that is, and then I got 3 skeins of the color Almond, and these are very beautiful, kind of like a light tan, I would call it like a sand color. I believe this is called Almond, but it might be called Sand. It's color number 01, and I really like that. So you can see the comparison between the sand and the gray. This one's sand, and this one is silver. I think this is called Almond and silver. And yeah, so super happy with those colors. And now what I'm thinking of making with it is a headband, because it's alpaca and wool, so I think it'll be nice and warm. and I'm thinking of making a headband, and if I have enough yarn in the colors I like, I'm thinking of making like a cowl or a scarf. So we'll see. Yeah, so I'm thinking of doing that. The yarn is a number 2 fine weight yarn, which I would say it's a little bit thicker than that, I feel like, but it technically is a number 2 fine weight yarn. You can see this is the weight of it. It's really beautifully woven, or twisted more like it. So that is, it's number 2 fine weight yarn, and it recommends a 4.5mm hook, and it's 131 yards per cake, and 120 meters, 1.75 ounces, and I think that's all about all the details. So yeah, super excited to get started on this, and I'm going to go ahead and try making a little swatch probably first. I'm thinking of using, I'm going to start with a 4.5mm crochet hook, because that's what they recommend on the yarn label, and I want this to be a little bit thicker and not have a lot of holes. So that's my goal with this. Using a 4.5mm hook, I think we'll do that. And I plan to use 2 strands of the yarn just to make it a little bit thicker. I typically don't use a number 2 weight yarn. So if I use 2 strands of a number 2 weight yarn, it equals about a number 3 weight yarn. And so then I feel a little bit more comfortable with using that, and it'll be a little bit faster to crochet with as well. So I went ahead and made a little swatch, and I think this is a stitch I'm going to use. It's showing up really beautifully on the camera. It is called the Alpine stitch, and I basically made a little chain across and started working up, and I'm really happy with the stitch. I love the texture it gives, and the back side of this is also very, is just a nice plain, which will be really nice to have against your head. You don't want a lot of texture against your head. So I'm really, really happy with this stitch. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I've used the Alpine stitch before for a blanket, and that was really pretty as well. So you can see that is the Alpine stitch. I'm planning to use that. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, and I used a 4.5mm hook, 2 strands. I'm gonna go ahead and work on this a little bit more, and then I'll show you my progress in a little bit. And I am thinking about making a little twist in the front, or maybe just not doing any twist at all. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, super happy with the progress, and I will show you in a moment when I have a little update. Okay, so I've made pretty quick progress, and you can see this is how it's looking. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but the edges want to be a little bit like extra, just extra fabric. And the reason for that, from what I'm thinking, is that the center is more of a tighter stitch, and then the edge on the last stitch of each side is double crochets. And so it tends to be a little bit taller, and therefore then it wants to kind of curl a little bit. It wants to curl a little bit in like this. So my thought is I'm gonna finish working this up, and then I'm gonna come back and do a little border around the edge. And I'm thinking of doing like single crochet decreases, something very discreet, but that will kind of pull it together a little bit so it looks more even across the whole headband. So yeah, that's my thought so far. Super happy with the texture. I just think that's such pretty texture, and I feel like this yarn goes well with this kind of texture, and so super happy with that. I did just finish 1 ball of this, so you'll definitely need at least 2 skeins to make your headband work. Yeah, so I'm super happy with it. Used up 1 skein. I'm gonna go on to my next cake, and I am super happy with how it's turning out, and I'll meet you back in a little bit to show you my next update. Alright, so I got done with the headband. I've been working on this the last couple of weeks, so I'm ready to show you guys an update. I got done with the headband, how long I wanted it to be. You can see this is how long it ended up, and I found that it was close to, I felt like it was going to be close to the right size when I put it around my head just to test it. So I liked that. Then what I did is I did a little border around the edge, because the edge was a little bit kind of just a little wonky. So I did a little border. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's just single crochet decreases along the edge. And the goal was just to make it look as flat and even. Hope the help the main body of it to not want to like twist. And so I'm really happy with how that turned out. So I went on both sides. I started like here, went down, went across the bottom or this middle part, and then went on this side. And so yeah, super happy with that. Now what I want to try doing is I want to try doing a little twisted knot thing, and I'm excited to see how it turns out, but I'm not sure how exactly I'll like it. So that's the next thing to try, and yeah, I'll give you an update once I'm done with that and share what I'm thinking. So I'm excited to try it. Okay, so I just went ahead and tied it together, and you can see this is how it looks, and I really like that look. I've actually never worn a knotted headband before, but I really like how it's looking. So what I think I'm going to do, I have 2 changes I want to make. First, whenever you pull this rather tightly, it kind of compresses to not looking like much of anything. So to fix that, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to, instead of when I fold it, I'm going to have to go a little bit lower on the fold, and that's going to help it keep its shape a little bit better instead of kind of separating apart. And then the other thing to help with having more space to do that is I noticed that whenever I put it on, it's a little bit too tight. So, I mean, it fits, but it's just kind of like super tight. So I think I might try taking this out and then adding like 2 or 3 more rows on, and then trying to do the thicker twist thing. So that's my plan. 2 things: take this out first, add a couple more rows, and then try to do a twisted knot thing that's a little bit thicker so it looks better whenever it's stretched. So yeah, super excited with how it's turning out, and I'll give you an update in just a moment. Okay, so I just finished the headband, and I meant to show you guys how I'm doing the twisting part, but I ended up just doing it, and I really like how it turned out, so I don't want to take it out and show you guys again. So a couple things I did do is I added a couple more rows. I think I added like 5 or 6 more rows, and I'm very happy I did that. It's nice, and it's now a little like it's more roomy, which feels really nice and not super tight. Then I also did a couple of edits to make it not pull as much apart, and I really like that too. Obviously adding the rows helped, but I did a couple like whip stitching just to pull these 2 together on the top and bottom. Really happy with how that turned out. So I'll have to make sure I include that in the tutorial if I make one. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is I've been wanting to make a cowl to go along with this. So with the same stitch, and this is what I started on. I've started on this over the last few weeks, but you can see this is how it looks, and I really, really like. It's the same stitch, just using a bigger hook because I figured it wouldn't need to be quite as small of a hook. This I use a 4.5mm hook for. This I think I'm using a 6mm hook for, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. So I'm going to keep working on this as well. But yeah, so you might see a tutorial for this eventually, but this one hopefully will be a tutorial coming out in the next few weeks on this YouTube channel here. So make sure to subscribe if you're interested in this tutorial or any other of my other patterns coming out soon. And don't forget to give this video a like. Make sure to comment down below if you are interested in seeing this tutorial. I'd love to hear from you. It's always encouraging to know if you guys are interested in these tutorials. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!